Good morning, delegates. Our next session speaker, we'd like to welcome Mr. Rajkumar Arumugam, Vice Chairman of AMMA India, who will be giving his perspective on the Indian agri-machinery sector and its effect post this COVID-19. We welcome Mr. Rajkumar Arumugam.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Agricultural Machinery Manufacturers Association of India, we shortly call it AMMA India. I think you all maybe know we have about 850 manufacturers as members in this association, spread all over India. The manufacturers includes from tractors to harvesters to implements to small machineries, all range of agricultural machineries. The manufacturers also manufacture for and supply for the domestic market. Also, we export to various other countries. To give a brief about the agri-machinery, I think we all know that the global agri-machinery market is expected at around $161 billion. And I think the projections for next 2 years also in the range of 5 to 7% CAGR growth, which is a very positive trend. India as such holds about $8 to $8.5 billion agri-machinery market. And India does export of close to $1 billion business on the exports to various other countries in agri-machinery segment. I think we all know that India is the world's largest agricultural tractor manufacturers. I think India produces close to 700,000 tractors per annum. And of course, out of which close to 100,000 tractors are being exported to various other countries. This is particularly in the range of 30 to 55 horsepower range, where India becomes the world's largest tractor manufacturer. I think I'll now go a little deeper about the opportunities as well as the challenges, and also how COVID has played its part in the agri-machinery segment. The Indian agricultural land holding plays a major role in designing the mechanization also. Compared to many Western countries, the Indian land holding, about 85, close to 85% of the farming community belongs to the small and marginal farming land holding operation, which means 85% of the farmers hold either less than or close to 1 hectare only, compared to thousands and hundreds of hectares in Western and other countries. The land holdings are much smaller, and that itself poses a serious challenge as well as the opportunity for the mechanizing industry. Mechanizing small farms are always challenging, as we all know. But many few years back, India took a direction of mechanizing the Indian farms through tractors. I think tractors have been the primary mechanizing tool for the Indian farming community for many years. But that has also given a challenge, because the 85% of the small and marginal farmers could not afford tractors and will not be able to financially operate a tractor with a 1 hectare or less than 1 hectare land holding. So the tractorization, what we call it, instead of mechanization, which has happened in India, has only helped the large farms, which is the 15% of the farming community, and the 85% of the farming community are still to be mechanized with the appropriate mechanizing tools. And of course, size of the machine also plays a role. A farmer will not be able to, or may not be able to afford a 50 or a 60 horsepower tractor, whereas in the global we are all talking about 100, 200, 300 horsepower tractors. So that is the biggest challenge for the Indian mechanization industry. And of course, now the present goal of the Indian machinery manufacturing industry is to serve that 85% small and marginal farmers also. And that means a lot of innovation, automation, and small size appropriate machineries are the solution. And I think there's a lot of R&D and research and development innovations happening now among the manufacturing community to serve with the innovative small and appropriate machineries for the Indian farming community. Also, with the Make in India and also Make for Global initiative, which all have been launched by the government, Indian manufacturers also presently looking at the global opportunities. And I think Made in India is also nowadays a well accepted, durable brand. And I'm sure with all these innovations which are happening in the Indian agri-machinery manufacturing industry, we will be able to serve the global market also with a larger share. From the government side, Indian farmers have been receiving a lot of support towards mechanization for many years. I think there are a lot of support in terms of government subsidies for individual farmers to purchase machineries. There are custom hiring center programs which are subsidized heavily by the government. There are farmer producer groups which also been subsidized and supported. So there's a lot of government initiatives also which are coming up to support this mechanization initiative. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of these initiatives have gone towards tractorization. So now I think the focus for the Indian agri-machinery industry and the market has to be on the small and marginal farmers. With that focus, mechanization and also innovation and appropriate machineries, I'm sure the Indian agri-machinery industry will be able to serve the Indian as well as the global market with the durable and innovative machineries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajkumar, for your valuable inputs on the Indian agri-machinery. So one feedback, you think now the Indian agri-machinery manufacturers can also be looking at joint ventures, especially for the SAARC and the African markets, for the appropriate technology for that particular region. That's where I think Indian machinery manufacturers also have. What is your take on that, sir?
Certainly, I think Africa is one big opportunity. The land holdings are, I think, not only on the large farming sectors, but also on the small farming sectors in Africa. And having small machineries as well as the big machinery, large machineries, I think India becomes a very good viable solution provider for the mechanization of African farmers. Of course, there are a lot of initiatives which are taken by the manufacturer to go into Africa and help our work on the mechanization. As you mentioned, serving or supplying from India could be one solution, but I think the long-term, more commercially viable option is working in Africa itself. And I think many of our manufacturers are already looking, and some of them have also started in terms of joint ventures and local manufacturing or local assembling in Africa. So I think to summarize it, the Indian agri-machinery manufacturers are very open to the joint venture opportunities to start and supporting the mechanization needs of the African farmers.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajkumar. And that was a very insightful talk which you had given. We hope all the participants and the visitors will benefit from this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So yesterday we also